Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. I'm just going to finish setting up for you. I think we can see everything there okay. Let me just double check on my feed. Yep, that all looks fine. Alright, I'm going to sit down, let me share this to the group and then that's done. To the group. For some reason this phone has lost its predictive text. It's funny how we get used to something. There we go, that's all shared. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me this morning. This will be the last one this year. And we are going to take another look at some what I've been calling clean mixed media, if you like. So this is number 53 in our series of Technique Tuesdays. So let's make a start and run through what I'm going to be using this morning. Okay. So I'm using a piece of white card which is 9 by 19, the same as last time. That one, and you'll need a little bit extra just to stamp out an extra set of the florals and one of the hexagons. The black card to mass and layer with is 9.5 by 19.5. I'm using a 10 by 20 card blank. Stamp set wise, I'm using a Postage and More 2, Nature's Garden 1 and 2. I'll also be using a hexagon shaped Gelli Plate. Now these little ones, they get different shapes. Where's the one I was using from? Comes from a set like this, so you've got the oval and a rectangle in there as well. If anybody would like to have a look for these, they come in really useful for adding details and texture to your work. So that's going to tie in really nicely with the hexagon stamps and dies that we've got. I've got some acrylic paint. I've got the Art by Marlene ones, because I really like the consistency of those. You need a little brayer. I've got some watercolour pens. I'm going to be using some water and brushes and some water brushes. I'm using First Fine Clair Nocturne to stamp with, and a stamp platform, and then things like scissors, glue, some clear embossing powder just to set everything. And for masking, I'm going to use Post-it notes again, but you could use your tapes. Very fine copy paper would also work really nicely. Okay, so let's get going. We'll do the jelly printing first. Let's move that to one side. Okay. Yeah, Donna's just said the year has flown by. It really has. It has gone ultra quickly. I can't believe it either. It is quite scary. Okay, so I know we've seen Brian doing this quite a lot. I thought we'd have a little go. I'm by no means an expert on this, but this is just getting down some nice texture and colour for a background. So I am just going to pop a little bit of the paint onto my mat. Move those out of the way. I'm just going to pick it up with the brayer and come in with some random blobs is going to build up a nice little background for us. Okay, let's give this a little wipe as we go. There we go. Okay, so just want to make sure that this is completely dry before we move on to the next colour, otherwise we're just going to end up with mud. So I've got the hairdryer, excuse the noise. To our next colour. Let's go with this one, nice pink. I've kind of worked from darkest up to lightest. A warm welcome to everybody who's joining. It's a very busy time of the year at the moment, isn't it? So get some more blobs down. Probably got a bit too much paint on there. A bit of paper. When you're doing anything with a Gelli plate, it's always a good idea to have a spare bit of card just to take off any excess, and then keep hold of that, and you can use that to make up another background. Okay, so let's give this a little wipe. Give this another dry off. Oh, pick up the wrong thing. Sorry about the noise. I'm going to come in with some orange. This is it's going to be slightly different to the one I made as a sample, and slightly different to the one I had on the desk this morning. Just thought I'd mix it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so again, just want to pick up a little bit of that paint. Some nice splats in there. There we go. Wipe a bit of that off. That's it. Again, wipe this up. As you can see, I don't really properly clean my brayer, which is probably naughty.
No.
But then again, I am only using this for adding texture and things to my background. Well, thank you for asking, Jenny's. Yeah, still full of it, and I'm not feeling all that wonderful now either.
I'm still full of it, aren't I, my girl?
You are.
You sound like it.
Okay, and this will be our last layer, going in with some nice green this time. I used blue on that one I showed you, so I'm going to put a few little blobs straight on there. Let's see how we go with that. And I'll go right over with this, making sure we've got a nice even coverage. Come in with my bit of card. And we want to come off the page slightly. Pop it about there. This is a little bit like stamping, how we've got it at the moment. Hold that down in place. Put the lid back on my paint. Put that to one side. Okay. Carefully turn that over. Give this a nice rub. We can come back in with the brayer. Another little rub, and just give that time for that lovely paint to settle. Pick up all those lovely details we've just gone to the trouble of making. Move that one out the way. I will carry on and build up onto this, and then that will be a really lovely background at some point. Okay. Peel that off. Okay. And here we go with our print. So this is a great way to make an actual shape with your different paints and have each colour showing as a separate. It's a really nice, fun, interesting way of making colour on your background. So let's just give this a nice wipe over before we move on. And some people do and some people don't. Clean up the jelly plates. I must admit I do quite like it when it gets that nice crusty edge around the edge. But seeing as these aren't mine, I think I better give them a nice clean.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, let's move that out the way. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a quick blast just to make sure it's dry. Probably is, because it doesn't take long. Excuse the noise again. That's fine. Okay, so we've got the basis now of our background, and we've got our little first part of mixed media. Thank you very much, Jax. Okay, so let's start stamping. Okay, so this time, because we're going to be making a pattern again, just like last time. And bring this up to here, move it away from the edges because we will be going in and out, and I just think that might be a bit easier this time round. Okay, so I've got the Nature's Garden here. So I'm going to go with the large hexagon stamp first. I do love this collection. Bringing this nearer to myself so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to place this in the middle as much as possible. Again, don't worry yourself about it. Okay, it'll be alright. I'm just going to lift this up a little bit so I can see. Over a little bit. It's just easier for me to line everything up. Okay, let's go with that. Anyone just joining us, please don't worry about being late. You can always catch up. It's no problem at all. Now I'm going to be using the VersaFine Clair and then setting it, because it is onto acrylic, which is basically a plastic, and it wouldn't dry completely on there. You could go in with a stays on, but as that's not so good for your stamps, I'd rather do it this way instead of ruining the lovely stamps. Okay, there we go. So that's into the middle there. I'm going to take this away and then I'm going to stamp it down again onto the background, just like we did last time, so we can start building up our pattern. Okay, give that a wipe. Let's get that set. Just a bit of copy paper, catch the embossing powder. Just using the clear tap the rest of that off. Pop that back in our pot. I recommend getting especially the clear and the white. If you use it a lot, get the big pots. Okay, so heat set this now. Colours have come out pretty, haven't they, Heather? It's always a bit of a gamble. Never quite know what's going to happen. I'm trying to get it in shot so you can see it, but it might not, so it's a bit awkward. There we go. Don't worry about the extra powder on there either, it's not a problem. I've only got it on the slurs heat setting just because we're doing it with paints. It's very difficult to do underneath the camera. Give it a whiz on the top, make sure we've got everything. Yeah, girl, that's did you mean between versifying Claire and ordinary versifying? Because versifying Claire has got even finer pigments than ordinary versifying. That's why I tend to use it such a lot, because it picks up all the detail. Ah, that's interesting. Just wait for the answer to pop up. But that is really why I use the versifying Claire, as opposed to if I was stamping like the solid stamps that we've got, I would use ordinary versifying because it doesn't matter. But the versifying Claire, especially if you're doing something very detailed like any of these florals, it's just a very finer detail. It will pick up everything. So, oh, cat's just come in. Hello.
Is that by her? Yes.
Okay, so move on to the next part. Bring our pattern back in again. It's just been out. Wipe some of that off. Make a mental note of where I had it on the mat. Now, as I said, I've already stamped out the floral, so that will be nice and dry to work with, and I've stamped out an extra hexagon. Yeah, I think it's gone again now, because we're going to have this layered up behind our actual flowers themselves. So what I'm going to do, take the little hexagon stamp, and this is going to come in round about here, so it lines up in the middle there. And take it right over to the edge. Could have done this before I actually put the card in. Stamp this in place so we know where it's going to be, which always helps. Doesn't matter quite so much about setting this because it's going to be covered up anyway. We are then going to bring in the floral. Okay, so I'm going to use this one today. It would be nice if we're going to have it about there. Let's move that again. Stamp this into place on here. This is going to be our reference, and then we can keep using this as many times as we like if we want to create the same thing or something similar. You could do it on a different size piece of card, but obviously just fill it round more. Move that to one side now a moment. Let's get our florals stamped in place. Okay, I think it's nice if we have these surrounded by the white. There we go. I think that looks quite nice. Stamp this down. So we know where we're working. I'm also going to bring this one in, line this up onto the stamp there. Just so we've got this outline on here. There we go. So once we've cut it out, if we miss a little bit when we're cutting out the florals and putting them back on again, it's not going to matter because you've got that nice black line there anyway. Move that to one side. Okay, let's give this a wipe. Back in there. Now we can start building up our pattern. So following on from here, I'm just going to move this one up slightly. We've got the lines on here to keep everything nice and straight. When you're doing this, if you want to just draw some pencil lines where your grid is going to line up, that's fine. And if you wanted to, you could mask out like the area around the colour if you wanted to, but I quite like the mix of the black lines there. It's all personal preference. Okay, put one down there now so we know where we're going. Get rid of the white so I don't get my fingers too mucky. Got one coming off the page now. Line that up. Ink that up. Move this one in again. Oh, excuse me. Now we're going to miss one here, going down here. So what I'm going to do to make life easier for myself, we're not going to have one there. We're going to miss that and come in here. So we just want to bring this in, move that over, using our lines again to get that nice and straight. If you don't want your design to come off the page, if you don't really like that, then just adjust to how you would like it, how you would like the pattern to go. We all like something different, don't we? I always quite like things that go off the page. Okay, have one coming in here. Sorry if my head's getting in the way, I hope it's not. Ink it up. kind of go in there, down there, and then we'll follow through again there. I just thought it was quite nice to have a little gap in between as well. You of course can do whatever you like. This is the whole point, to get your creative minds thinking and flowing. Another one here. It's nice and easy to line up. We've got the straight edges. So keep that in place with the magnets just in case I nudge it. That wouldn't be good. Okay, that's that one. And then we can follow in on the other side again. I'm sure it will all make sense in the end. Let's put one in here. I'll line it up so the top and the bottoms are where the middles are on these. Move that over slightly. Oh dear, Jenny's a bit lost. And you see on here, I'm sure it's fine. And also I'll show you on the cards there as well. I'll take a photograph as well. That always helps, doesn't it? And then one more at the bottom. Once I've taken this away, I'm sure it will make sense. We're just building up a honeycomb pattern, really. Last little bit. Okay, so if you want to have a look on here, we had our main focal hexagon here with the one to the side in the middle, which is going to highlight the florals. So from this one, it goes straight up. Then we come into the side, come all the way down, and then use this pattern to carry this line on. You could add another one in there if you wanted to, but I quite like having that little gap. So I hope that helps. Just do what you like. You could just go around and do them around the actual hexagon, like put the hexagon, big hexagon in the middle and work your way around. That would work nicely as well. Okay. So bring this bit back in again now so you can see how it looks on there. I know it's a bit distracting with the flower there as well, but we need this here as our placement. Okay. So our next bit is to add in some of the nice details. Let me find them.
It's not German, it's pepper.
Okay, so I'm going to be using one of my favourites, the nice crosshatch Hessian type stamp and the little dots. These are super useful. So bring this back in over here now, that's fine. So I'm going to have a bit of the Hessian coming off all, let's have it off of, let's do it on this one this time. We'll bring it over a bit. Line it up straight in the middle. Okay, there's my bit of post-it note just to cover this bit. And again, I'm not going to stamp or ink all of this one because I quite like it looking a little bit raggedy.
Bit like me.
Come down. There we go. We've got that there. And that doesn't carry on up there. It's within the actual stamp itself. Okay. Next, we're going to have one. Let's move this up this way. I think I'm going to do this slightly differently. Let's have one coming in off this side this time. That would look quite nice. This time I'm going to need 2 bits. Still using the bits that I was using last time, which is good. Just on those 2 sides. Again, just going to partly ink that up. Okay. Give that a little wet. And then we want one more, which is going to be our focal hexagon. So we can do this straight here. And again, we'll have it so it comes down in between the flowers. It doesn't matter if we stamp on these because we're going to cover these up anyway. But we do just need to cover the top so it stays within the stamp itself. Yes, Jenny, post-its are brilliant for little bits of masking. Okay, let's bring this up. So that'll give us that same texture. It ties in the whole design. And of course we'll have a floral coloured to place over the top here. So that will all be good. There we go. And you can see that, but my feed is very, very slow.
Very slow.
Give that a wipe while I'm waiting. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's pop that to one side. Put this little one away. And I also want the little postage mark. These are so useful. Okay. This one here. Okay. Let's decide where we want to put these. I'll definitely have one over here. I'm going to place this down, put it right to the edge there. Make sure I've got it on straight. You could do this with an acrylic block really, as I've got the stamp press out. There we go. could even use some different coloured inks if you wanted to. That would look nice. Have one up here. Okay, I'll give this all a final set with some clear embossing when we're done. And I think we'll have one right at the bottom. No, I'll go there. Decisions, decisions. So that's a few more little details that we're adding in. And I also quite like using this lovely little cluster of dots to add some texture into the background there, and I want them to come around these leaves. Remember, it doesn't matter that we're going over our design because that's going to be covered up. Let's use the acrylic block, it'll be quicker, won't it? So, going to come round underneath the flower there. Some here. Just add them in wherever you like. Have some coming from there. Turn that around, it's coming that way, just follow the line of the leaf. Have some under this one. This will help to draw your eye towards the flower. Yeah, doesn't matter if you overlap, that's fine. Some joining those up as well. There we go, that's those. And then I'm going to bring this back in because we want some around the top of the flowers. Down there. This is all about adding in some texture. So I'm just going all right round the top of the flowers. Always have a little bit more on there. And up there. That's it. Give that a nice wipe. Okay, so that's all the stamping. to one side, bring that over. Okay, so again, if you want to, we can just set the ink that we've got on the paint.
Oh, Jenny's glued you.
Oh, Jenny, are you? That's the thing with crafting, isn't it? Sorry, another blast of the heat gun. And over the top this time, be easier. Jenny, it definitely is an obsession. Once she gets started, that is it. There's no turning back. There we go. Ooh, got synchronized heat gun. Let's get that back into that. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to add some colour now into the rest of the design. So I'm going to be using some watercolour pens. So I've gone with the same colours. We're going to pick up, I think, on the main florals. So instead of just going straight into what I've got here, like you've seen me do before, I just like to add it onto a, you know, flat surface beforehand, so a glass mat or acrylic or anything like that is good. I'm going to do these at the same time, makes life easier. So because we've got quite a large area on this part, I'm going to come in, I've got some water and an ordinary brush. I'm just going to come in, not doing anything too technical, just coming in with a wash. Let that dry off a bit. I've got another water brush here for the flowers. I'm going to do orange on this one. I'm going to go in all over first. It does not matter if you go over the lines because we're cutting it out. Got orange there. Pick up a bit more. Because obviously the more times you add colour, the deeper it's going to get. Okay. Bring in my lovely cloth. Get that white. Jenny, thank you very much. That's so lovely. Pick up a bit more. I'm going to use this one this time. Use a bit of dark. Keep adding some just here and there. Doesn't have to be neat at all. Want to add a bit more colour, come in with a bit more. That's it. Just to pick up on the texture we've got in there. Pick up a bit more of that. There we go. A white wipe off before we move on to the next colour. Okay, so now we're coming with some pink. Again, come in with some water on the brush just to come in the first time with these. Coming up here. As you can see, I'm just being quite loose with it. Pick some up here. I'll paint this one now. And then I'm also going to add some of that pink in to this flower. Clean the brush off a little bit and blend it. Okay, let that dry a little bit and then we can add some more to deepen that colour slightly. Pop some of that in. Just coming in there. The inside of the flower will be a bit darker anyway. It doesn't really matter. You do whatever you like. There we go. Just wipe that up so we're not creating too much mud. Come in with some purple. Let's do this one this time. There we go. I'm going to add the purple in to the pinky flower here. I'll bring this up for a closer look in a minute. Of course, each time you do this, it's always going to be a little bit different. That's all part of the fun. Just wipe that off, add a bit more colour down so we can go a little bit deeper. You could use this same technique with distress inks or oxides. You could even do it with the acrylic paint if you water it down. So, a bit more here. Just to make that stand out. Just wiping off that brush again. Blend it. More down there. There we go. Okay. And we'll do the leaves, a nice green. Make them stand out. Just picking it up. And I'm just going over the whole lot. I'm going to worry about it too much. It's all going to be cut out. I'm going to do these little bits here at the bottom of the flower. I'm sure that's got a technical name, but I'm not sure what it is. Come in again with a bit more and just add in a little bit of shade. Just a little bit at the bottom there. Always add a little bit more. That's it. And then if you want to create a little bit of something extra, you can add in a little bit of yellow. Come in here. Just highlights the top of the leaf a little bit. Add some here if you want to. Okay. Just give that brush a good clean off. Put that to one side. Give that a clean. It doesn't have to be watercolour pens, you could use pencils as well. But I do like the lovely clean colour you get with the pens. Okay, so let's show you this before we move on. I have got one cut out, so don't worry. We won't be spending hours cutting it out. Wait for the feed, because it takes forever. And also what I did when this was dry, I then went in, I just did the little stamens in black. You could do them any colour you like. I just like how it will mix in with the dots underneath. Okay, there we go. I've got those, I can use those on something else now, that's good. Okay, so we're ready to start sticking. I've already got my black on here. Glue, my trusty glue.
Your shares in that company, aren't you? That's why you use it all the time, isn't it?
It's the best glue I've ever used. And it sticks anything. The pro markers I've been using are the watercolour ones, Jenny, just in case there's any confusion. I did treat myself to some new watercolour pens. They are by Pro Marker. Okay. Because we've been working that with heat, let's bring in this. Give this a nice firm down. They are the, let me bring one in. The Pro Marker watercolour pens. You could try it, I don't think it would work. The alcohol inks, obviously due to the very nature that they're alcohol based, dry almost instantaneously. So but yeah, I needed a few more colours and I thought, oh, why not just go for what I'm used to. You all know that I'm a big fan of the Pro Markers. Okay. Now we can start sticking our elements in place. I need to pop this one down first. I've got a little trick for this one. As you can see, I've stamped it and then cut all around the edge, but we do have the little notches from the stamp design. However, we can get around that. there. And this being white is just going to, yeah, I wouldn't try it, Jenny, not really. Don't try ordinary alcohol markers with the water. However, if you have is it isopropyl, yeah that would have a similar effect. So using our colours we've just used, this stuff, it's also known as alcohol ink blending solution. You can spend a small fortune on tiny little bottles of this stuff that are branded, where you can get a whole massive bottle like this, which will last you ages for blending your alcohol inks.
I've got half left.
That might be something we can try in the new year.
That's 12 months old.
Okay, so what I did, we've got a lot of orange as the base colour here. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to dot some little colours around in the notches, and then that's going to help these disappear into the background. And if you don't look too closely, it's going to look like I spent ages cutting all these out, which I haven't.
You did. Don't listen to her, she did.
And that will start to blend those. If you've got another colour that's quite, you know, I've got quite a bit of pink here, we can add some pink in. Just little dots, as you can see, and that blends that straight away. Okay, so now we're ready to start sticking our floral down. I've already got these prepped this morning so that we're not spending ages on what I consider boring cutting out. I'm not a fan of fussy cutting, it has to be said. So we've got our guide, we know exactly where we need to be placing these. That's going to come in over the top. Okay. You can use whatever florals you like. We've got a whole range of beautiful flowers we can use for these. We are quite spoilt with our floral choices. This little leaf, I'm always afraid I'm going to lose this little one. Place that over the top. There we go. So yeah, hopefully this is now getting a little bit easier to understand. It is quite a busy background. Bring that in there. Tiny bits of glue on here. Try getting the white way round. There we go. Last two, almost there. glass leaf. There we go. A little bit of an inky block there. I need to see if I can get rid of. Donna, thank you so much. Get my rubber. There we go. Let me bring the other one in. This was using the other florals. And then there was the one I did as a sample as well. See, I haven't got that one. That's to show you what a difference it can make with what colours you use and what order you put them in. With this one I did some splats with black, but I think with this one we'll keep it a bit neater. If you didn't want to go, you know, full on splats, you can use these little stamps as well, just in random places, or you could even draw some little splats in. There we go. So let's see if I can move this in a little bit for you. Let me stand up, then you can have a closer look. There we go. Bring that in a little bit. You can see. And there we go. Thank you ever so much for your company this morning. And I would just like to wish you all a very happy Christmas. A happy, healthy, crafty new year.
That's from both of us.
Yeah. I will be back in about a month now, I think it is, when I looked at the calendar. So, yeah, enjoy whatever you're doing. Just trying to think of if we've got any more lives coming up. I'm not sure. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, I'm sure it will disappear as quickly as it came. So yes, thank you for all your support and inspiration this year. Keep posting all your beautiful makes. Absolutely love seeing what everyone creates on the Facebook group, Crafty Fender Julie Hickey Designs. If you're new to us and you haven't seen that yet, we've got all sorts of different styles. Everybody does something different. And it's just chock full of inspiration, fun and friends. So thank you, and I will see you all next year. Take care. Bye.
Bye everyone.